Yom Kippur, Yom Kippurim, the Day of Atonement, the Day of Forgiveness. That was the day that Klal Yisrael received Luchos Shnios, the second tablets. We had lost our relationship with Torah after creating the eagle, the golden calf, and we got it back on Yom Kippur. And I had previously mentioned that this is so much different than the Teshuva that preceded Yom Kippur. All the different people that did Teshuva, Adam Arishan, Cain, Ruvain, all of them, when they did Teshuva that saved them from some degree of punishment. But in terms of really getting back something that you lost, this was the first time it happened. Adam Arishan was supposed to live forever, right? Adam Arishan was not mortal. After he ate from the Eitz Hadas, true, he did Teshuva and he lived for 930 years, which is pretty good. But that's a far cry from eternity. He became immortal, and his Teshuva did not change his mortality. He lived longer, but he's still mortal. The first time ever that Teshuva completely undid what had happened was when Klal Yisrael got Luchos Shnios. We lost our ability to have a relationship with Torah, and we got it back on Yom Kippur. Through our Teshuva, we got it back on Yom Kippur. We got back what we lost. So this is really what makes this day so special. This is the day that gives us the spiritual forces of redoing your past and making up for everything you lost. When one realizes the power of that, one really appreciates when we say the Shehechiyanu at the beginning of Yom Kippur. Yeah, we say Shehechiyanu at every Yontif. The Shehechiyanu at Yom Kippur. Do you know what a special day this is? You can actually undo your past. The question is, how does that work? How does that work? The Mesilas Yesharim really asks the kasha. The Mesilas Yesharim asks the kasha, someone chas v'shalom, somebody murdered. How's he supposed to undo that? He's a murderer. The damage he did to his neshama, what's going to change? So he did Teshuva. All right, he did Teshuva, but he's still murdered. Says the Mesilas Yesharim, this is a chesed, which is another way of saying this is a miracle. And I just want us to appreciate what we mean when we talk of a miracle. Chaim Shmulevitz, Zechron Levracha, used to say, Chazal tell us that the Meraglim, the spies, when they came to Eretz Yisrael, so they walked around the country in 40 days. So Chazal tell us that it was miraculous. You cannot on foot go around all of Eretz Yisrael in all directions. You cannot do that in 40 days. And this is on foot, not even on bicycle. We're talking about on foot. How come they had Kvitzas Haderech? Because Hashem knew that what was going to happen is that they're going to bring back a bad report, and that Klal Yisrael is going to be stuck in the desert for all the years. It turned out it was 40, but it was all the years that correspond to the number of days that the Meraglim spent walking around Eretz Yisrael looking for trouble. So Hashem made it that they were only there for 40 days so that they would only have to be there for 40 years. If not for the Kvitzas Haderech, it would have taken them so much longer, and Klal Yisrael would have been stuck in the desert for so much more, so much longer. So Reb Chaim Shmulevitz used to ask, why did he have to make a nace of Kvitzas Haderech, that they should only be there for 40 days? Let him make a different nace. Let him make it that they shouldn't have to pay a year for every day. A year for 2 days. So Reb Chaim used to say, no. The reality of the damage done in every day of walking around Eretz Yisrael looking for trouble, the reality that that equals a year in the wilderness, that even Hashem cannot tamper with. That's the reality that he set in motion when he created all finite existence. And that's not something he tampers with. That's what Torah is. There's right and there's wrong, and there are consequences. What is wrong is bad for our soul, and the result of it is something natural. That's the way we were created. Our neshamas are affected by our actions. And that really it's a mitzvah, it's a reality. These are natural consequences. And Hashem doesn't tamper with that. That's Torah. He doesn't change. The Torah doesn't change. What he could do was make fitzas haderech, to change the speed at which a human being can walk. Oh, that's just changing the physical world. The physical world, Hashem has the liberty to change whenever he feels like it. He never limited himself in the ability to do that. If we understand that the damage done to our neshamas by Aveira is natural, it's a reality. Every mitzvah gives more life, quality of life to your neshama. Every Aveira chas v'sholem diminishes our quality of life here and for all of the eternity. It affects our neshamas. So how does Teshuva work? How do we undo the damage? So Mesilas Yesharim is saying it's a miracle. Wow. This is a miracle on the level of changing the spiritual reality. How does Hashem do that? Doesn't this go against the very concept of, I guess, the reality of Torah, the rights and the wrongs and the natural consequences were set in stone at the highest, the earliest levels of creation? How does that happen? So Mesilas Yesharim says that nothing involves a pardon. There's no such thing as scot-free. There's no such thing. It's that things are given a little more credit than they should, perhaps. A person's suffering is almost like death, for example. He gives that as an example. But that there's a manner to everything that's going on. I would like to go into the tshuva side of it. What is the system by which our tshuva has the ability to undo the past? What does it? So really, one does have to ask a question. How does it work? Hashem made it that our physical action can affect our neshamas, our souls. How does a physical act affect the neshama, which is a chelik elokami mal? It's a piece of ruchnius. It's all spiritual. How does my physical act go and destroy that? What is the relationship between what we do with our bodies and the state of our neshamas? How does that work? Exactly how does that work? So we have to know. We have to know, we have to understand what we're made of. The human being was created from an Adama. Our bodies are made of matter. That not only includes our physical beings, it includes our DNA, our physical life. We refer to this as nefesh, or nefesh habahami. This is the nefesh. That's physical life, the finest form of physical life, which is what's encoded in our DNA. That includes all of our personality traits, all of our instincts. That's on one side. Then you got the other side, our neshama. And the neshama, the chelik elokami mal. The neshama that knows right from wrong. The neshama that's pure, knows reality. It knows what's good for it. It knows what is life-giving. We access our neshama by way of our intuition. Our intuition meaning our intellect, but something deeper than our intellect. That underlying sense of right and wrong that allows us to come to intellectual conclusions is that which allows us to really create logic. It's our original program for right and wrong, for that which makes sense and that which doesn't. So there's instinct on the one hand, our physical instincts, including all of our psychological instincts, and then there's our intuition. Okay. And they're both giving us messages. The instincts bombard us with messages. The intellect, the intuition, we have to access. We have to tune in. And then we process that within our brain. And then we choose. Who is this we that chooses? This is the seed of our free will, often referred to as the ruach. It's the seed of our free will that has the ability to choose between right and wrong. Every time we do something, we're exercising our free will. Even if what we exercise was the ability to not choose, the ability to not think, the ability to leave ourselves on autopilot and let the instincts run away with us. That too is a decision. That's our choice. Now, you see, that choice, our free will thing there, that's not physical. Unlike our instincts, that is not physical. That's something else. That's something higher. The ruach. That's something higher. It is by way of our free will choices that we actually affect the neshama, because that's happening on a high level. It's not really the physical act. It's really the choice, the free will expression. What have we chosen to do or not do? That's what affects our neshamas. That is what affects our neshamas. So in Rosh Hashanah, we were even talking about if you attempted to do something, that's also not simple. Even though physically you didn't do anything, but in terms of your free will, there was somewhat of a decision there. Perhaps not strong enough, because at the end you didn't follow through, but there's something there as well. And of course, the other side of it, which we really want to do a mitzvah, and for some reason it just didn't materialize, where we say you really meant it, and it definitely affects your neshama. Definitely affects your neshama. So essentially, everything revolves around our free will choices. This is key to understanding the tshuva process and the manner by which we can undo the past within our neshamas.